What a week it's been, what a month it could be, or it could all be disaster again. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, where it apparently finished Forest 1, Burnley 4. A few of you were saying in the comments that I said accidentally. But second half, beautiful. First half, crap. But we are where we are now, and things are looking interesting. So make sure you've hit the like, make sure you've subscribed, make sure you check out OK Jerseys. You can get shirts for 15 quid. And don't forget that code, key code, FFTV gets you 8% more off. Get your custom names, your numbers, everything. World Cup shirts, they're all out there. Go check them out. The link is in the description for you. All right. We have so much to talk about tonight. We're late because these lot were arguing off stream as always. And we're going to cover off everything. We're going to cover off, is Rob a flip-flop? Is Ant a flip-flop? Is Ez...
I never flip-flop.
Not a flip-flop. Morgan Gibbs-White. The title.
You were shameless in your video today, the intro in your video today.
That was the best intro ever, and you know it. And I think you've switched your mic. Say something.
Hello.
It sounds like you're on the wrong mic. I can hear you, but you're on the wrong mic. Kick us off, Ez. Kick us off, Ez. What are your thoughts? Game of two halves or not?
Game of half an hour, really, because we didn't even have our first shot on target until Morgan Gibbs-White's first goal. But that first half was atrocious. You said you were happy with the lineup. I wasn't, and I don't think Pereira was either. And I think, regardless of conceding that goal on the stroke of halftime, he would have made those changes anyway. I think Bakwa was so poor yesterday. The fans were getting on his back as well. Every time he had an opportunity to run at his defender, he declined from it. He turned back in. He looked for somebody else. He looked for the easy pass. We had no threat in that first half. And unfortunately, and I'm kind of glad that I've survived it, but that's been the fear that we've put up most of the home games this season. That was typical of how we played this season, that first half. And the second half was an absolute blitz. And I think what happened was something that I've been calling for. I wanted to see Jesus playing in that 10, put Morgan Gibbs out wide, Morgan Gibbs-White out wide. And I felt Hutchinson grew into the game as well. I think he did really well on that right-hand side. So a lot to be positive about. The goals were absolutely fantastically well taken. And the self-reflection that you get from Morgan Gibbs-White, which is why I argued with you a couple of weeks ago when he got, I think it was in the Europa League game when he got substituted off and he was shaking his head. He was angry at himself. He's self-reflective. If you listen to his post-match interview, he said, he missed that sitter just before his first goal, and he had a word with himself. You need to compose yourself in front of goal, and he composed himself for that first opportunity, and he took it beautifully. And then everything just clicked. Every shot he hit, we had 4 shots on target. We scored 4 goals yesterday. I thought Jesus played really, really well when he came on, both as a 10 and when he was put on as a number 9. That goal was fantastic, where you had the whole defence chasing him. I thought his touch was a little bit heavy, but it clearly wasn't. It was spot on, and his finish was sublime. Got everybody chasing him, and he started it into the corner. So I was really happy about that second half performance, because how many times, and I don't think it's many points this season, but we picked up from going behind. So that was something we haven't done. And score 4 goals at home. Let's say we've laid that bogey to rest, because we've scored in our last 3 home games now. And yesterday was just shows what when a players are confident, they can turn it on. And that was the first time when we've had a team on the back foot, because they just went deeper and deeper and deeper as the half went on. We can get a team on the back foot. So that was the first time I saw us using that pressure and actually scoring the goals. They were all really well taken. I was happy with the changes he made at halftime. It changed the game. Chris Wood got a few more minutes. He's still not fully fit. He had one chance which he should have buried, and he would have buried this time last season. But overall, I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm like you. I think one more point should have a sleep, and I'm confident about we'll get that point in our next few games. But there's some narrative about Spurs being able to pick out 9 points from the last 5 games. Can't see that ever happening. But I'm happy where we are, and I don't need to even worry about West Ham. West Ham can do whatever they want. As far as we do our bit, which we are doing, I'm confident. What's that? 5 games unbeaten in the league now, and a few of our players who have been called out throughout this season. We'll have a look at their stats at the end of the season, and we'll see if we're happy with it or not. Because I think you guys all agreed with what I said last week, that Jesus was not brought in as our main striker. But for him to have 15 goal contributions at this stage of the season, I think it's more than we would have expected from him. And if it hadn't been for his goals in Europe, we wouldn't have got to the semi-finals. So I think he's played his part. I think he's been good. I would keep him. I know we had this discussion last stream. I would not be getting rid of him in the summer. I would keep him. I'd give him another season. I think he's a great backup striker. And Morgan Gibbs-White has been the main man this season. Without him, I dread we would be relegated. Without Morgan Gibbs-White's contributions this season, we'd be relegated. We'd already be in a relegation zone and far from it. So he's kind of done what he needed to do. 20 goal contributions from him this season now. So that's 15 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. I think you would have hoped he'd be getting to those figures. So I'm happy with it so far. I think we're safe. I think we concentrate on Europe and maybe get one more point, at least get one more point in the league. And I think that's the league safe and concentrate on Europe, mate. But I'm buzzing after this weekend. Absolutely brilliant.
That's so happy, Clappy. I love it.
I know. Why not? I'm not going to be miserable. Why am I going to be miserable?
We've been miserable
for long enough this season. We've had enough misery this season. Let's just enjoy it right now, because nobody would have predicted the position we're in now. Semi-finals of Europe and pretty much safe. Nobody would have predicted that. I wouldn't have predicted that, or not under Sean Dyche anyway. So I've mentioned him already. So let's get that out of the way. But I'm happy, mate. I'm happy from where we were to where we are. And Pereira came in the worst situation out of all the managers this season. And for him to turn it around, and you can clearly see where we've got a style of play. We didn't have a style of play of any of the previous 3 managers. We've got one under Pereira, and he's obviously instilled it. And the players are listening to him, and he's making changes. Those changes at halftime changed the game yesterday. So I'm happy with the manager. 4 managers doesn't bother me. I told you, as long as we don't bring them in like Spurs have with 5-6 games to go, 4 managers doesn't matter. But yeah, I think we're doing what we needed to do, and I'm more than impressed with that performance yesterday in the second half. Happy clapper away. Go on.
Go on.
Someone be miserable.
Well, let's say half a good game, because that first half yesterday was atrocious. I was actually getting worried during that first half. Relegation was staring right at me at that point. However, Pereira, he's growing on me. I've not listened purposely. I've not listened to a single interview from this manager, because, as I've said to you before, I don't care what managers say. I only care about what happens on the pitch. And I've got to say, although our record has not been magnificent under him, it's been good. It's been good and good enough. And the way I look at it right now is, I think it would take something quite extraordinary for us to get relegated. We've got points in the bag. That's the main thing. Things can go funny. We've seen it before. A team can lose its last 5 games. It's possible. But all in all, very pleased. I thought the performance. I thought the changes that he made, because Bakwa, unfortunately, was very, very poor. And I take no pleasure in that, obviously, as a Forest player, and I want him to do well, but he was just poor. MGW was poor in that first half, They all were. No, nobody shot in that first half.
Murillo again.
Pardon?
Murillo's passing again.
Murillo was shocking. In fact, I even thought to myself, naughty though it may be, because I thought Cunha was great, by the way.
How good was Cunha again?
Brilliant. Yeah. And I thought to myself, you know what? I am no longer petrified if Murillo's pulled a hamstring. I'm not, prior to probably even prior to yesterday, although even with Cunha's previous performances, I've been impressed. But prior to yesterday, the thought of Murillo being out was like, oh my God, that's it. The world's caving in. But when he went off yesterday and Cunha came on, the way he played, I thought, if Cunha's centre off in the next match, I'm not going to be worried about it. And that's a great step forward.
Well,
and left or right, left side or right side. I think it's good on both sides.
Yeah. I mean, I was very pleased with that. So I thought, all in all, the changing system, the changing personnel will obviously work well for us. We got 4 goals in the second half. So yeah, I'm happy. Look, it's Burnley. They are poor. You know, I don't fancy their chances against Man City on Wednesday, if I'm honest. So I think Arsenal have blobbed it. So yeah, I'm fairly happy. Sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit because I've not got a lot else to say, if I'm honest. I'm sure things will come to me in the next few minutes when Rob's talking. When Rob's talking, then
your ideas will pop into your head while I'm speaking. Just write them down. Just write them down.
No, that's normally because you'll say something that's so antithetical to what I'm thinking that it pops it into my mind.
And say a few words about the tribute at the start of the game to Anderson.
I cried. I'll be honest, but I didn't cry, but my eyes were full.
I did.
Very, very touching.
And
very
you
lovely.
was affected by it as well. So
yeah, and I mean, as you're all aware, I lost my mum fairly recently, so I know how hard it can be. And I thought he did really well. I thought he played really well. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be honest, we'd have forgiven him no matter how he played after in the circumstances. But he played well. He was quite ferocious in his tackling. I think he was getting some feelings out. You know what I mean? It was hopefully it's done him a bit of good, and it must be lovely to. I mean, I felt a lot better when I saw the comments in the chat box and stuff like that. It made me feel better. So the fact that he had that much support around him from the City Ground faithful, it must help, surely.
It's something he'll never forget. He'll never forget that moment.
And I keep thinking to myself, he's so young, and they put a picture up of his mum, and I thought, my mum was old, and I'm old. You know what I mean? But he's so young, and and she looked. I mean, I was going to say she looked a lovely lady. Of course, she's a lovely lady. You could tell by the way that Anderson behaves that she was a lovely lady. Yeah, it's tragic. I'm getting goosebumps now just talking about it.
Well done to everybody who was at the stadium. Like I say, something that's going to live with him for the rest of his life. So well done to everybody who gave that.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it live, unfortunately, but
beautiful. I like
even the Brighton players. Big up to them as well. The applause and everything. So Burnley players. Just before I bring Rob in, let me just catch up on the supers. I really like this one from Seb. Is this your mate, Seb, Rob?
No.
Seb with the 4.99. He says 1-0 down after half time. But I think it'd be more fitting if I finish the super chat with this.
The result is that at the end of the day, we always win.
He says it better than I can. Thank you for the 4.99. Big up to you, Sebastian, and thank you, DJ Ants mate. Ants mate. Thank you for the 44 months. Big up to you. Big up to Jimmy as well with the 38 months. Shout out to Jimbo.
We've got some long timers, haven't we? Wow.
And thank you to Richard for the £5. He goes, Wolfie, my brother Oliver says he knows you. Oliver, do I know an Ollie?
Ollie.
Or is he saying, Wolfie, my brother? Oliver says he knows you.
Oh, okay. Who's Oliver? You're going to have to be a bit more specific than that. I probably only know
Oliver Stewart's son. Stewart's son.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, he's saying Wolfie, my brother, and then new sentence. Oliver said he knows you.
No, that's me making a joke of it.
That's what I said it was.
I was making a joke of it.
Okay, that could make sense. That could make sense.
No, because if it was Wolfie, my brother, he did have a comma.
Let me know which Oliver it is, bro. Thank you for the £5. Russell with the 5 months. Legends. Big up to Jordan with the 38 months. I hope your mum's doing a lot better, Jordan, as well. I think she's in the hospital last year, so hopefully she's on the full recovery. Big up to Jan with the 42 months. Legend. Chris Wolf, love that name, with the 26 months. And shout out to Matt, my boy Matt, with the 33 months. And big up to NFFC 1865 with the 31 months. You Reds, legend. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribed as well. And put your vote in. If you type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, have you given up on Backwell? 1 is yes, 2 is no, and 3 on the fence. 67% of you are on the fence. Roberto, over to you.
I want to give Wolfie a big shout out first, because I think it's remarkable the way that he can remember names that go, actual names that go with his usernames.
It's so hard,
you know. I mean, I'm bad enough. I'll meet people down the ground and names straight in and out. So how he does that, I don't know. It's just remarkable.
Wolfie, what's your options again?
Oh my god, I can't win with Sangare. Either I'm on his payroll or I hate him. I can't win. Sorry, go on, Rob. Over to you, mate.
Well, I'll try not to repeat anything that's been said already. However, I just want to add my bit on Anderson. I am full of admiration for him playing on through the pain, because that lad has got nerves of steel. I would want him taking a penalty for England in a World Cup final against Germany, because he has got nerves of steel. But like, from where I was sitting, we saw all the tribute and he just looked like a speck, But like on Match of the Day, when Gibbs-White, he scores, he goes over to Anderson and they give each other a hug. And that you can see the pain etched on Anderson's face. And he kept going because he showed up yesterday because the team needed him, and we did need him, and he put in a real performance. So I just want to recognise that. Now, about the team selection, I understand the logic of it. I thought the team selection we came up with the other day was better. I had a feeling that we were going to see the 4-5-1. And in theory, it's right, because you got 2 wingers and the aim is to cross to Chris Wood. But I said beforehand, I didn't want to see Backwell or Ndoye, but I had a feeling that we were going to. And it wasn't a great performance from Backwell in particular, but not even Hutchinson either in that first half. I think the problem that we had from where I was sitting is when we went forward to attack, it was our front 4 up against about 7 Burnley players. And it felt to me like the back 4 and the 2 holding midfielders were just sitting on the halfway line, not getting involved. And it really felt there was like a 30-yard gap between those 6 players and the 4 attackers. I think we were just simply outnumbered in the first half, and it just didn't work. And, of course, the play was never stretched because Burnley didn't attack. So you never really had an opportunity for Backwell or Hutchinson to sort of dribble and get the early crossing. So it wasn't working, and it clearly wasn't working. And although I'll give credit to Pereira for fixing it, my feeling is that why couldn't he do something after 25 or 30 minutes? Because that was enough data as far as I'm concerned. I feel that first half was wasted. And when they punished us, I mean, their goal came because our defence was temporarily disorganised after Murillo going off. People didn't know where they were supposed to stand. There was a gap. There was an overload, a rare Milenkovic header and error, and of course they score from their one bloody chance. That was it. I mean, no one's mentioned it yet. Everyone's praising the fans, but there were some boos at half time as the team went off.
No, it was boos at half time. Yeah,
I didn't join in but I felt like it because that was a dark place. Because I was just thinking, don't you dare lose this game. Don't you dare lose it, because it would have kicked off, right? Now, the thing is that the players themselves knew that, and they were disappointed with themselves. And I think Gibbs-White's absolutely, I'm fair play to him admitting they just felt the pressure. They just felt the pressure. Now, I think that the change, when it was made, what was really the catalyst, as I've said before, the whole performance of the team comes down to one thing. Is Gibbs-White losing the ball? In the first half, it was, yes, 100%, constantly. But the problem is, he's got way too much on his plate because he's meant to start off the moves, be the playmaker, connect the passes, and he's having to score all the goals. So I think the change that was made was a fairly simple one, which is that Pereira said to him, Morgan, just go and sit on the inside left. We'll bring on Igor and we'll make the chances. You just need to put them away. That's your job now. I don't want you even on the ball. Your job is to apply the final touch. And what a masterpiece of a tactical change that was. I would actually describe that formation as a 4-2-4 almost, because it felt like there were 4 players, because Burnley played an offside trap, interestingly. There were 4 players on the shoulders of those Burnley defenders, whereas in the first half, it had basically been 1. And Pereira, I like his interviews. I like his honesty. He was saying I told them how to find the spaces. My God, it worked because Gibbs-White was popping up all over the place. And it was simply the change of role. He doesn't have to be the playmaker. There's enough players in that team that can create. His job is to finish. Now, I think we're going to come on to this, but I would say that we've been a little bit proven wrong. I think Gibbs-White was the most important signing we made in the summer. And well, I'll come a bit later to our flip-flop pact. But
you better do.
Yeah, no. So look, if you, Wolfie, are prepared to take back what you said about, I wish we'd just taken the 60 million, etc., etc., I am now prepared to admit that sacking Sean Dyche and appointing Pereira has worked out well, and it was the right thing to do, even if it means 4 managers. To give credit to Pereira, he's got us to the semi-finals. And we're unbeaten in 5 league games. And you cannot fault that. And I just like the guy a lot more. And I think the big difference with the previous 2 managers is that Postecoglou and Dyche, they had main character syndrome. As far as I'm concerned, this is not about the manager. It's about the club. I don't want to know what.
Just play it. Wolfie, just play it. Just play it. He's.
Go on,
wait, no, hold on. I just need to. Did you say if you
admit that you were wrong about Gibbs-White?
Okay, why does that? So basically, what you're saying is you won't change your mind. So if I say no, does that mean you're going to say Pereira?
No, I'm prepared to do a flip-flop pact and say that it was right to get rid of.
No, don't ignore my question. Don't ignore my question. Are you saying? Because I'm going to say no. I'm not changing my mind. Does that mean you don't think sacking Sean Dyche and bringing Pereira in was right now?
Well, you can't flip-flop me then. That means that you still think that Morgan Gibbs-White should have gone.
I'm asking you. I'm not.
It's called being hypocritical, Rob. It's called being hypocritical. You can do it. There's no problem.
Do you still?
I do it all the time.
Yeah. On your condition, I'm not changing my mind. So
right.
Therefore, does that mean you're not changing your mind?
That, Rob.
So can we just clarify?
Because I was speaking exactly the same as Wolfie. I was going to say to you, so if Wolfie doesn't change his mind, then that means you don't regret getting rid of Dyche.
Yeah, you're making it sound like your mind is conditional upon my mind.
Simple question. Do you think we should have taken the 60 million for Gibbs-White?
At the time, issue.
Wow, so you're not prepared to flip-flop. Right, I'll go a step further. He's joint 5th top scorer in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If he is overlooked,
he said, Rob, at the time. This very important. People will say this to me, aren't they? Going to
what I said about Sean Dyche was right at the time.
No, it was wrong then. It's wrong now. It's been proven to be wrong.
All right, move on. But I want to say about Gibbs-White. We've been talking most of this season as if Nico Williams being player of the season is a given. I would just say now, I think that he's got some competition.
You stole my thunder. I was going to bring that point up as well.
But
and also believe.
Go on.
No, I was saying I also believe he's earning himself a place on that plane to the US. I don't think there's any reason why he should be overlooked with his form. If he carries on his form until the end of the season, there's no way he should be overlooked for the England squad.
The thing is, Rob, sorry, just to go back to that point. The season's the season. The last 2 months is the last 2 months. If you play, you're not player of the last 2 months, you're player of the season. I can understand what you're saying, and it wouldn't bother me because I don't give a toss who wins player of the season. It's about the club, not a player. But it should be for the whole season. And I think Nico's been far more consistent over the length.
Consistent, I agree.
It's like saying Kai Havertz is the greatest ever Chelsea player because he scored the winner in the European Cup. Well, it's not true, is it?
No, but Morgan Gibbs-White
in the running. Nico Williams.
Nobody. I mean, I would say Dominguez. I think he's been consistent, but he's not played enough.
Yeah, since he came back from his injury, I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah, player of the season.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's played enough. With Nico's played practically every game.
Would anyone say Anderson?
Anderson would be up there.
No, Anderson's been terrible in some games. Terrible.
Yeah, but
he's been terrible.
You're not going to be perfect in every game, are you? Let me put a little poll up.
Nico's had, what, 2 or maybe 3 average games or poor games? After his handball, he had a couple of bad games, isn't it? Prior to that and since then, brilliant.
I've had a long enough go, but I hope we're going to come to the a little bit more in depth about Igor Jesus and also the Murillo versus Jair Cunha discussion, because I've got things to say about both of those, but I've had a long go there. But
yeah, well, I'll kick us off with Jesus because I missed him out. I thought he was so much better yesterday than he has been for quite a while.
Yeah,
he put himself up, but he wasn't playing as the number 9 striker, the number 1 striker, whichever way you want to put it. He was playing a deeper role, and I think it suited him well. And yeah, he looked a better player. Yeah, he looked a better player.
I
don't like him as a goal striker. He just hasn't got it.
Is he a goal scorer, Ant?
No, he's not.
We have a flip-flop.
Oh, that's not flip. I am a flip-flop.
I
said it's so deadpan as well. No, it's not. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Would you still get rid of him at the end of the season? Because you did say last week.
Oh, let me get ready with the button.
You didn't hear me now, didn't you? Would you still get rid of him at the end of the season? Because you did say last week you would.
Did I?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
If his position is number 1 striker, then yes, I would get rid of him.
No, that's not the question.
If he was given the opportunity to try to play in another position, I would consider holding on to him for a while. Because we're not going to get much for him, are we? Let's be honest. So if he was like considered to be the second striker or even the number 10 position, not necessarily number 10, but that position, I'd be prepared to give him a little while to see if he could actually fit in. Because he has got something about him. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? I do like the fact that when he wins the ball, generally he lays it off pretty well. He doesn't very often give it away, you know. So I like that in a player. Yeah. So yeah, I'd give him a chance in that, but not as a main number 9.
Flip floppy. I can't lie. It's a little bit. It's a little tone of flip flop.
I'm really pleased he had that chance at the end because it was quite funny. It was almost comedic. He had 6 guys running after him.
Yeah. It was like Keystone Cops. For the kids.
Yes, it was. It was running from the police. And I thought, right, well, if he's going to score here, he's going to need pace, strength, and composure, right? And if he doesn't tick all 3 boxes, he doesn't score. But he did. And I think that's, you've got to give him credit for that. Now, absolutely. I think the thing about Jesus is that when we had him and Wood on against Villa, it didn't work. But it worked really well yesterday. I think the thing is with the 4-5-1, just having that sole striker, it's quite easy for the opposition defense to watch one player like Chris Wood or Igor on his own, especially if Gibbs-White is quite far away, quite deep. But having the 2 of them, it gave Burnley just too much to think about. So
I did see signs in that Villa game when it was only 15 minutes they had together, but there was some link up between Wood and Jesus. And like I said, if you put Morgan Gibbs-White out right or left like he did yesterday, he's played the position that I've been saying that Callum Hudson-Odoi should be, the inside left position, where you're free. You're not having to cut in to create your chances. You're already in the position. But I felt we worked well in the Villa game, and that's why I wanted to see more of it. And I think it's given him an option. It's really given him an option, and it does bring wood into it. Go on.
Can I piss on Rob Strawberries again? As a student of the game, as a scholar of the game, I like to think
it's not a phrase. Why you've never heard it?
It's quite a well-known or well-established understanding that it's actually more difficult for central defenders when there's one striker than two, simply because if there are two strikers, they both know which one to. They both assign one striker each to mark. When there's one striker, that they'll often leave it for the other one, and it can create chances. So it's not always better to have two strikers. It doesn't mean that makes it more difficult for the defenders.
But if there's one and there's nobody nearby him, as was the case for Igor during the entire Sean Dyche tenure.
Yes, Rob. If you're using him to hold the ball up and lay it off, then yes, you need people up with him, obviously.
Oh, I mean, I agree that Chris Wood is the absolute master of finding the gap in between the two central defenders. Yeah. But then if you look at how someone like Burnley was playing yesterday with like a low block, you just need bodies in there. And
This is it. Yeah. We needed the overload in the final third, and that's what we got in that second half with the changes. It took 10-15 minutes for us to break into it because, like I said, again, we didn't have our first shot on target until Morgan Gibbs-White's first goal on the 63rd minute. But if you look at going back to Jesus, if you look at his heat map from yesterday, he wasn't a striker. He was everywhere. He had quite a free role as well. And giving him that license allowed, obviously, other players to find space as well. But I thought, that, like I say, the gameplay in the second half, the formation change, and the way they never threatened us at all in the second half. We took total control of the game, and we took our chances for the first time in a long time. We've had 25 shots in the game and not scored a goal. And yesterday we had 4 shots on target and we scored 4 goals. That does not happen. So you guys got to see an absolute bloody unicorn of the second half yesterday.
The funny, it's just occurred to me. There's a couple of strikers, and of all people, it's Diego Simeone that's changed these strikers. There were 2 that were strikers originally, Griezmann and Alvarez, and they now both play behind the striker, or in that position behind the striker. Now, I'm not saying Jesus couldn't be as good as either of them because they are both exceptional football players, but that could be a position that he could thrive in. Because I don't like him up top. He's not got it.
Yeah. I haven't got a problem with it. We need a number 1 striker for next season, no doubt about it. We can't obviously be relying on Chris Wood. And I agree, Jesus isn't our number 9 for next season. We need a proper number 9, but I've got no problem with him playing as a backup striker or a false 9.
Well, this is what I was saying about the flip-flop. Yes, I would get rid of him if he was our number 9, but not if we're going to give him a chance further back.
It's difficult when you talk about strikers, though, because we had a sort of shopping list in the summer, and we were talking about people like Gyökeres and Sesko, and then
we didn't get either of them two. If I'm honest.
But this is what I'm saying: it's that hard to buy somebody that is going to get you 20 goals. It's bloody hard.
I mean, if they're struggling at clubs like Man U and Arsenal, how the hell would they have been at house?
I like that Rob left his boy Solanke off that shopping list.
Solanke and Strand Larsen.
How's Solanke?
So the weird thing about Solanke is that he's probably going to the World Cup. And he
can't. No. If he does, then I'm sending him a shirt back.
The problem is that England.
I'm not having that.
I know, but they're so short of backup for Harry Kane. If they're looking at people like Welbeck and Solanke,
Rob, rather than substitute somebody good with somebody shit in the same position, you change your system. That's how good managers get around it.
I just think it's absolutely shocking if Welbeck and Solanke go to the World Cup and Gibbs-White
Welbeck's good. I like Welbeck.
Welbeck should be given a chance. He's not getting a chance. He should be given a chance. No, he's not.
I want to pivot on to the next subject before I do.
I tell you what, Wolfie. I wouldn't have minded Welbeck at our club this season. I don't think we'd be in such a big
you're the guy
trouble.
who wanted Nketiah.
Oh, don't bring that up again.
Wow, that's old.
One mistake I made. One mistake. It's like the goat fucker, isn't it?
We always
we're
got
gonna
that on the
talk
back
about
burner for
mistakes.
you, Ant. It's
We're
always
going
on
to
the
talk about
back burner.
mistakes in a second. Big up to DA.
You've always got me, haven't you? Whatever I say, you can always just make me look an idiot.
Robert.
Pull that Eddie card, man. Big up DA with the 7 months. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. Big up to PD with the 4 months. He goes 2 up front, better for breaking down weaker teams.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. And shout out to Stephen with 37
Amazing.
months. And Chris has put a super chat in, and I want to move on to Morgan
Hey,
Gibbs
Chris.
right now. And just before we do, guys, there's 550, 600 of you in here. Please make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. Don't forget to check out OK Jerseys for your shirts. Chris with the £2 says, Morgan Gibbs-White is our best signing since Stanley Victor Collymore.
Discuss.
I'm going to start with you because I think I'm going to put a poll on this one. So if you see the polls there, just answer it with the number related to your answer in the chat and it registers it.
So I see Nico's got a lot of support still.
Yeah, Nico 80% is interesting. Yeah. We have an educated
Yeah,
chat.
absolutely.
Go on, Ant, what are you saying? Is Gibbs-White the best signing?
No, he's not. No, he's not. Now, my memory of timing-wise is not very good, but I would say Pierre Van Hooydonk's a better signing than MGW, just off the top of my head.
What? Even on strike?
Yeah, he's on strike.
Yeah.
That's
No,
Morgan
it was great.
Gibbs-White
It was a great
on
player. Whilst he played for us, he was a great player for us. What he did later on is what he did later on. But whilst he played for us, he was a great player for us. So I'll personally put that down. MGW has been good for us. It's hard for me because I know he's got a lot of talent, but like I keep saying, he lets us down on too many occasions. And that, for me, is what separates him from being a good player and a great player. You know, so and I can't get past that. I'm not gonna, because he scored 3 goals yesterday. I'm not gonna forget all the times that I've seen him this season giving the ball away, doing silly flicks and tricks, not tracking. I just can't ignore his inconsistencies that he's had since the day he joined us. Actually, but you do get these flashes of absolute brilliance that make you appreciate what he is and what he can be. But for me, consistency is key. It really is. I mean, Murillo. Is Murillo not a better signing? Maybe.
Well, I was going to say Milenkovic.
Yeah,
Transform the defence.
And we're thinking very recently, mind you, we're going to be thinking recently because we spent 23 years.
I don't know.
I don't think you can put a championship player in there because they didn't achieve what we want them to. We're not in the top flight.
Garner technically helped with the promotion, you could say.
Yeah, you're not going to say he's the best player since Stan Collymore.
No, signing though, isn't it?
I think MGW is up there though. I mean, I'm not going to.
Well, let me just say, if you put no in, everyone's saying no. If you put no in the poll, tell me in the chat who.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Whom? So you're saying no, and you're saying Van Hooijdonk.
Yeah, I'm saying Van Hooijdonk. That's the first one that came to my head. It was just literally without even thinking.
You say Kevin Campbell as well,
You could say Kevin Campbell.
Yeah,
Campbell
but
a little while,
he was slow for his first couple of years.
Yeah.
It was in the championship.
Van Hooijdonk got promoted.
Yeah.
It's a good question. It's a
It's a very good question.
I'll lead on from what
it depends on how you're ranking it as well. I personally put a lot of emphasis on consistency, where some people might put, remember that game when he did that? People have different.
Oh, yeah. Ryan Roy was after Collymore, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
he was at the same time as Collymore, wasn't he?
Technically.
Because I thought about Brian Roy as well.
Yeah, it's right though, isn't it?
I mean, Lars Bohinen was better than MGW.
Lars Bohinen was a baller, man.
Just a better player, But yeah, go on. Somebody else carry on because I'll get myself into trouble. If I mention any more players, I'll get into trouble.
I love Mweski, man. He was quality.
Oh, Ruddy. I love Ruddy.
Yeah. Ruddy was decent.
Up there. Remember Bop? I'd take a bit of Bop for it.
Oh, Jürgen Bop. He never did anything for us. I liked him, man. Everybody loved his name. Let's be honest.
It's a quality name, man.
It's rubbish.
It is a brilliant name.
I'm gonna defend Morgan Gibbs-White because I think he's done it in obviously with his recency bias, but This is the longest spell we've had back in the Premier League since we first got relegated under Brian Clough. You know, so fingers crossed we've done enough. I mean, I'm sure we have done enough to go into our 5th season in the Premier League, and he's been part of every single one of those seasons. We've had highs and lows, and it was the same in the Championship. We'd have a good season, then a bad season, and a good season and a bad season. We never had 2 good seasons in a row. So if we do survive this year, I'm expecting next year to be unbelievable, and I think we'll make changes in the summer. I think we deserve it. But I think Morgan Gibbs-White, the problem is we've got such high expectations of him. And we did have before he came in. He destroyed us last season in the Championship, you know, and he was almost a deciding factor on the night in that semi-final with Sheffield United. He absolutely scared the shit out of me, and I'm so glad we signed him. But I think he's been brilliant, and I think on and off, he has been, certainly this season, I go back to it, without his goals this season and his contributions this season, we would already be relegated. So I think he deserves his flowers, and I think for his consistency over 4 seasons, I think he deserves his flowers for that one. But if you're talking on technicalities, then it is Brian Roy, isn't it? Best player since Colin Watt. You can't miss out Van Hooijdonk. Hooijdonk, I loved him. Absolutely.
No, I disagree with Roy and Van Hooijdonk. I think Roy faded.
What do you say about Roy in my presence?
Yeah, well, he faded. Look, as part of a partnership with Jason Lee, he wasn't it, right? And Van Hooijdonk going on.
Jason Lee, bro. You can put Messi with Jason Lee. What are we going to expect?
Van Hooijdonk is disqualified for going on strike. So I think that the two.
He was right.
If I was to pick 2 players from, and it's difficult to pick 2 players from the current crop, but it would have to be either Milenkovic or Wood. Wood simply for his outstanding goal scoring, and Milenkovic because he was the missing piece of our defence. If you think about what we had before Murillo and Milenkovic, I mean, we had a season of Murillo +1, didn't we? But that's what got us into Europe in the first place. The difference from having Milenkovic.
I'm gonna say he is because of this.
He got us to
the
final. I was about to lay into you then, but all right.
Griffin, you bang on, bro. Like he knew what he was doing, man. He knew what he was doing. You bang on. Look, I think Morgan Gibbs-White needs a lot of credit. Here's my frustration with Gibbs-White. He's on 12 goals, isn't he? What is he for the Premier League? 12.
Premier League 12, 15 all comps. 15.
I'm telling you now. I think he should be on 17, and I think that's a low estimate.
I think you're spot on. Because if you look at, I was looking at his stats earlier, and the big chances he's missed 7 big chances, and one of those was actually before he scored the goal yesterday. Yeah. That was a huge chance, you know. So I agree with you. I think he should at least 4 or 5 more goals, and even maybe a few more assists. But assists is a difficult one because he's done.
Because that could be a 1-yard pass, can't it?
Absolutely.
But you made a good point there, though, is when you said he's had the missed chances. That first one was missed chance, but I would counterbalance that by saying, but that effing header was unbelievable. That wasn't even a quarter of a chance.
The cross for that one. There was one man in the box, and Yates found him beautifully. Yeah. What a cross!
I was right behind that header goal. Even after he edited it, I thought that's going.
I thought it was Jesus, man. I was like, Jesus.
So the thing with Gibbs-White, because I sent you the stats earlier, the top scorer stats, is quite interesting. His minutes per goal and his conversion ratio and everything is utter crap compared to the players around him in the top scorer charts. So, he has the potential for a lot more. I think the weird thing with Gibbs-White, and we've all seen it, is it's almost like the more time that he has to think about the shot, the less of a chance of it. It's like when it's just reflex from him.
Wait. Can I let you get away with saying that? Have you watched my video today?
No, I haven't. I'm talking to you now. I have to watch every minute of you.
Wait, legit, you haven't watched it?
No,
okay.
But it feels like so if you look at the technique for goal number 2 yesterday, like the body shape and everything, that requires perfect. Actually, it was a little bit like a goal that Brennan Johnson scored against Leeds a couple of years ago, sort of similar. The technique required to get that right. If you've got any time to think about it, you don't get it right. But if you do it as a pure reflex, it was outstanding.
Rob, it is it's not an unusual. I mean, I've heard lots and lots of strikers and forward midfielders where they've said exactly that. Oh, you know, if he hasn't got the time, he's brilliant. But it's when he's got the time to think about it, he fluffs it up. And yeah. Which for a top player.
Thank you.
For a top player, I'm sorry to say, but that's a point against him, because a top player should relish the time. You know, look at Bernardo Silva. I mean, come on.
I know, and I'll argue that point because I've watched.
MGW's got more goals.
If you watch Ian Wright,
he's not on the same. He's not fit to lace his boots.
But the solution then is
Bernardo Silva has not played less than 45 games a season for the last 5 seasons.
So he's had more opportunities to score goals. Go on, Ez.
Now, I was going to say about finishing. You know, I've watched a lot of Ian Wright's videos when he was talking about his playing career, and what he learned was not to think about it. Make your decision really nice and early. When he said when he had time to think about it, that's when it caused him problems. So if you see some of his instinctive goals that he scored back in the day, man, he was a different type of striker. There wasn't many like Wrighty in the top flight, and his key was don't think about it. Make your decision nice and early, and look for the corners. But I think with Morgan Gibbs-White, getting him in that position yesterday gave him less thinking time. He didn't need to be the one creating, like Rob said earlier. He seems to be the one having to create and then finish it as well. You can't do all 4 jobs, you know. And I think the way we brought players like Hutchinson to the game, because of what Jesus did outside the box, really gave Morgan Gibbs-White the chance to show that actually, when he doesn't think about it, he can finish. When he thinks about it, he tends to fluff his lines every single time. But I think it worked perfectly yesterday, and I think it's a chance for us to see more from that. He can get more goals, and he should be getting more goals. But we need to be getting he needs to not be the creator. Do you get what I mean? He needs to be
Dan killed me in that comment, man. He killed
that. I'm more well known for saying that than any other thing I've ever said in 4 years on this channel.
I can think of a few things.
Yesterday, about 5 people came up to me, getting your boots on, man. Come on, we need you out there. And a lot of them actually agree with me as well. To my face.
Yeah, because you're like 6'4", man. What was I gonna say? Look, I actually
you're right there, Ed. You made some good points here. Sorry, I just went off on someone else.
Look at that, Ed. You got the ant approval. You must feel honoured to me. You must feel honoured. I was just gonna say, I think he was brilliant in the second half. I'm not gonna change my mind. I still think he can score more goals. This is a good thing. Like, I don't think it's bad to hold people to higher standards based on what you think their ability is. I wouldn't hold Ndoye to the standards I expect of Gibbs-White, for example.
Well,
that would be cool.
There's a parallel with Ilanga last year, because with Gibbs-White, it's you have so many matches where he just frustrates the hell out of you, but he's gone from being such a frustrating player to being a carry in the second half of the season. And it was like that with Ilanga last year. He was shocking for the first half of the season, and then towards the end, I mean, his GA was about 18 or 19. He got most of those from December onwards, you know. So I think the issue is with Gibbs-White, there's the memory of all of the times he's pissed us off that slightly clouds our judgment on him. But I think we just need to recognise now he's hitting peak form, and he can get better.
Okay.
Yeah, but also you can't base everything on
GA.
Recency bias, can you? You can't just say because he's been good for the past 5 games. He's had a fantastic season.
He's been good under Pereira. Full stop. -2 games.
Yeah,
under Pereira, he's really.
How many games is that then? 10?
I don't know.
You know,
actually, Brucey said.
You understand what I'm saying? It works both ways.
It does, but last season when it wasn't Ilanga and Wood, it was Morgan Gibbs-White. We had, you know, other players. When Morgan Gibbs-White's not performing this season, nobody else has chipped in. So that's why him not doing it, brings more pressure on him because nobody else is chipping in. So this has been the issue, and that's why we're in the position that we're in. But when for the majority of the results we've got this season, he's been involved in those games. You know, we wouldn't have gotten without him. So he's a key player, and he is the main man for Forest. Obviously,
I was going to say, don't get it twisted. I'm absolutely delighted he's here right now, and without him, we would be much deeper in the poo. So I'm absolutely, you know, all credit to him. And one thing I will never ever criticize him for is his work rate. I mean, you know, he's the kind of guy you want out on that pitch, fighting, running, tackling. You know, he might not do everything perfectly right, but he bloody hell, he puts.
And would you sell him in the summer?
Well, that rather depends. It depends on who else we're selling. If it means like if we sell him, we
don't even try to beat around the bush on this one.
No, if you're going to put stipulations in, you got to say where we are, what we've achieved. If we're in the Champions League and we're obviously staying,
I think we'll be very lucky to hold on to him next season. Let's put it that way.
Even if we're in the Champions League.
Okay, I like it. You made me think.
Again.
No, I think if we're in the Champions League, I think it stays. I don't think he has an affection for our club. I
don't think he's leaving. I think he
looks like one of those players that you look back at his career and you think, bloody hell, what did he stay there for?
He's not somebody I'd push out the door. That's for sure.
No, neither would I.
Neither would I. Need money in the summer, so it's not a sale that I'd be. There's others I'd sell.
This is the thing, isn't it? This is the thing. If we're in financial poo and we have to sell him, then we have to. But I think Anderson will go. So that means.
All right, who would you sell between? Let's do this. Who would you sell between Anderson and?
Right now, I'd sell MGW because he's older than Anderson. Is he older than Anderson? He's older than Anderson, isn't he?
He's a year or two. Yeah.
Maybe a year.
Yeah. I think Anderson's worth more, or going to be worth more. Although I think that MGW, in my personal opinion, I think he's contributed more this season overall than Anderson has. I think Anderson's gone through a pretty poor patch.
So what's your answer?
I can't remember the question.
Who would you sell
between Anderson? Money comes into it. If you're going to get 100 million for Anderson and 60 million
same for both, you're going to get 90, let's say, for either. You got to sell one.
I'd sell MGW. Yeah.
Interesting. Rob?
But I wouldn't begrudge anybody that would sell it, would go the other way around. I wouldn't begrudge them that.
Chat, one or two. Put one or two. The polls up. Rob?
So we've had this discussion before about should we sell X? And my answer is always the same. You should think in terms of what's your backup if you do. I know you're always intending to sign somebody to replace them, but if you know that you've got cover for them in the current lineup, that de-risks it considerably. Now, if Anderson were to go, we have got people that we've got depth in central midfield.
I agree.
My concern is if Gibbs-White goes, we haven't seen anywhere near enough from McAtee
to suggest that he
can step in. Good point. And potentially Jesus playing in a deeper role, but and there's just a lesson of Forest history is if you lose your top scorer, you go down the next year. So it would be an extremely dangerous thing to sell Gibbs-White.
Don't ever egg it. That's a major point.
I think that Anderson also it will be very difficult to keep him because he's being coveted. He's being coveted a lot more than.
So who are you selling, man?
Sorry,
who are you selling?
I would sell Anderson.
Can I just say, Rob's actually convinced me. I probably would with the backup scenario. I think that MGW is more difficult to replace.
We have a flip-flop. Everyone changes their mind. Like they didn't say that last time. We have a flip-flop, trying to erase the past. Well, buddy, you're having a laugh.
Yeah, there was no way we got the whole show.
We even got the full version.
Full version.
You can give me a less flip-floppy panel next time.
Ez, what about you? Who are you selling?
I'm selling. We had this conversation a few weeks ago. I said Anderson at the time. I think Anderson is more replaceable in our squad than Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah. I'll back up what I said. Without Morgan Gibbs-White this season, we'd be in the relegation zone. We wouldn't be in the relegation zone, in my opinion, without Anderson this season. So that's what I base it on. Yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White is our key man. And I think we
70.
Is he your lover? By any chance?
No, but I'm backing him up. I haven't. Listen, you guys, you've said this before as well, Anne. But I'm asking to be the one who backs him up, or I'm his lover, or whatever. I just not that harsh on him because I think nobody else has stepped up. When he doesn't play well, nobody else steps up. If other players have stepped up, you can criticize him a bit.
Nico Williams steps up.
You can tell I've been on the telly for a bit now, can't you? Because I'm much more polite. That's the question.
Can I just chip in? I want to address a couple of cheeky little shits in the comments, right? Why is it that Ez and Ant are allowed to give like long answers to this, and I'm supposed to just give a one-word answer without explaining why?
When have you ever given a one-word answer to anything? What are you talking about?
No.
When have you ever given a one-word answer to anything?
Not to my knowledge.
If you give a one-word answer, you then have to explain why you gave that answer. So I'm just giving you my thought process first as I answer the question.
No, we like the answer. We like the answer first, and then you can explain it.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more,
yeah, exactly. If you say the right answer, we could just go on to the next question.
Can I just repeat the funniest thing I've heard? Can I repeat the funniest thing I heard this weekend? And it's an amazing stat. Macclesfield Town have beat more Premier League teams than Spurs have this year.
So Southampton. So PSG. So PSG. Tyson Fury has won more matches at their home ground than they have. I've got loads. You want stats on Spurs? I got loads. Good shout out to Pete with the 4 months. He says, oh no, I've done that one. Sorry.
Oh, we've had that one.
No, I thought
still agree though, Pete. Still agree.
Do agree. Matt with the £10. He goes, MGW playing on the left makes him stay up top, not dropping in looking for the pull. Putting Jesus in the false 9 makes him stay up there in the holding and can get into the box.
Bang on.
Wood is not alone. We had numbers. We had numbers and an overload on that back post. I plagiarized my video again from earlier when he said that. I let that one slide. But you're bang on, Matt. I fully agreed. Thank you for the £10. Big up to Chris with another £2. He says, has MGW basically kept us up for 3 seasons? I think
no single player has done that. What he has is contributed greatly to keeping us up.
I agree. You can say Taiwo's goals in the first season, in the second season, Felipe, or was that the first season? I can't remember. So I hear what you're saying. I get the glazing because he had a great second half. Big up to Ant with the coffee. He says the modified 4-4-2 was in player position only. I love what Vítor brings to the table. He's also managing the locker room really well. He has provided Gibbs-White all the opportunities. He is now taking them. Come on, you Reds.
Yeah, I agree.
Insightful.
What are we all saying now then? Even Mr. Wolfmeister up there that we'd consider keeping Vítor for the next season.
Good question.
I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on that yet. But just because he hasn't got longevity at the club. I wouldn't.
Okay.
But I don't want to get rid of him. I'm just saying no. He's not a long-term manager. He doesn't do more than 18 months, and we need to build.
But neither was Pep.
Yeah. Look, man, my heart is set on one man and one man alone.
I know it is. You young fool. You're gonna get your heart broken.
Ready to have my heart broken by Marco Silva again.
I'm gonna break your heart because we had a chat after you left last week when you went to join Potts or whoever you went to join. And I've told the guys that I've not said it. I'm gonna say it publicly now because he is available in the summer.
Big news.
If there was 2 managers available, Silva and Areola, I'd take Areola.
Why would that break my heart that your opinion is different?
I don't know, because you just said you had your heart set on Silva.
I've still got it set on Silva.
You may have also noticed that Eddie Howe is available.
And I was thrown into the mix as well.
Well, I think Ant will be getting excited in the summer because Arteta might be free as well. Would you take Arteta, Ant?
I would.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Is he going to make us better than we are now?
He's taken a club from two 8th spots running to 4 second spots running. I've included this
with
one,
£1 billion spent. Yeah.
No, 730 million, far less than Man United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. You know, come on, let's be fair. What he's done to that club is incredible, not just on the pitch, but off it as well. However, I'm not certain
Why
he'd
do
work at
people?
Forest.
Why do people not know? You
I'm
know,
not
Silver's
certain-
won the league. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Like,
has Silver ever won? Yeah.
he's won the most prestigious league.
Silverware.
Yeah,
Silverware.
silverware. Very
Boom,
good. Very good. Yeah, he's on the Greek league. You know, for Mr. Marinakis.
Anyway, look, listen, you asked me a
combos
question.
there.
So I don't necessarily think he'd work at Forest because I think his standards are too high. I don't think he'd put up with a crap
Ooh.
football.
Okay.
Even
That's-
his
no.
tab is too
Well,
high, man. 15 million.
I don't mean as a club, as I mean the players. He's used to working with the likes of, you know, Gabriel and
Eddie Nketiah,
Saliba and
Eddie Nketiah.
Rice. And,
Pepe.
no, he got rid of Nketiah, actually.
He did work with him.
Well, can I say something in favour of Vítor? Okay.
Go for it.
The first thing is.
Wait, is this an admission? Did you admit to it? Or
No,
not? I can't
I've
remember.
admitted. Look, fine. You can do the flip flop if you want, but we've seen it already today. Okay.
I ain't got time.
So,
Yeah,
guys.
it's already stuck.
The first thing is to recognize that his name means literally winner. And that is what you call nominative determinism, right? It does what it says on the tin. Second thing is, I think it's very
Didn't Victor Meldrew much good, did it?
there's a big advantage in having a Portuguese speaking manager in our team with the number of
Marco
Brazilians
Silva.
that we've got. And I definitely think that Sean Dyche lost the Brazilians. And I will just come back to what I said
He's a
earlier.
brat.
I really like his lack of ego compared to the last 3 managers we've had. I mean, you just hear the interviews with Dyche now. I've turned on him a bit with moaning about
Finally.
the algorithm and
Have
all
you
this.
come full circle?
He's made it all
Brilliant.
about himself, going on about his record, you know, singing his own. He is his best cheerleader, Dyche.
And I was your
Yeah.
biggest critic, Dyson. Thanks for pointing that out. You can hold that if you're
Yeah.
giving me credit for your second.
Postecoglou was all about him as well.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, that's what went wrong for Nuno at the end. He made it all about him and his relationship with Marinakis and his favourite players and him getting Traore and Vítor. You don't hear anything about him.
Quite the
man
opposite.
himself.
Yeah,
And I
quite
like
opposite.
him.
Can I just sorry to interrupt, but can I just sound a note of caution now? You need to wait for the transfer market before you can decide whether a manager's going to be an arse or not.
Yeah,
Because
but no,
most,
in
I
terms
think
of what
most,
he's
I think
saying-
most managers, apart from lack of winning games, I think most managers fall out with the board over transfers.
Mm. Yeah, you're probably right on that one, but I will give him his flowers in terms of what he says. And Rob's absolutely right. I mean, if you listen to his post-match after the European game, his praise was totally on the players. If you listen to his post-match yesterday, he opened up with praising the fans and how they got behind the players yesterday. He takes it totally off himself and his coaching team. So I think that humility definitely attracts certain fan bases. But I've got to say, back to what Wolfie was saying about his longevity, that's the only thing I've got
That's
against
the
him.
worry.
I don't expect him to, but then I'm not going to flip-flop on what I said earlier. I don't care if we have 10 managers a season if it gets us to where we need to get to. I'm not precious about any managers, but you want a manager to get a transfer window, and there's no point if you've not going to invest in him longer term, giving him this massive summer transfer, because I do expect us to be in the Champions League in the summer.
As long as he's not got a 5 million, a 5-year contract worth 12 million a year, like some managers have just
Absolutely.
got.
And if you're going to make the decision early, as soon as the season finishes. If you're not going to stick with him, you're going to bring somebody in. You've got to give him that time.
I will now be surprised if they got if we stay up, providing we stay up. I'd be surprised if they got rid of him now. I would be.
If he got a problem with his longevity, then he's definitely at the right club, isn't he? Because I mean, he's already our second longest. He's already our second longest serving manager this year.
I have no fears because I don't watch his interviews, and that's nothing against him. It's just a decision I've consciously made.
But is that a recent
Yeah, no,
thing?
but Rob, I don't want to see a manager that I grow attached to, and then it clouds my judgment of whether he's a good manager or not because I like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And
people
you
do
haven't
with
always
Steve
said that,
Cooper.
have you? Is that a Risa thing? Is that because of Sean?
No, I don't generally listen to managers. I don't generally listen
Okay.
to managers because then you're not being fooled by them. You're not being lulled in by them. Look at what Steve Cooper did to thousands and tens of thousands of Forest fans, to the extent where we were going down and they still believed in him. It wasn't to do with the football, I can promise you.
He
Do
understood
you want to play it? You can play that as well if you want.
I deleted it.
Oh,
No, I didn't delete it. We're on a new account. That's what it was.
okay.
All right.
Better not be deleted. That's a classic, mate.
Yeah. And even if I did, Ben would dig it up anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap up there. I gotta head over to the 12th man to cook Deji.
Oh, he's
And,
got somewhere else to go. What was it?
somewhere
And
else.
is that your main
mate,
hobby now?
it's like last year's old bloody washing.
I'm determined not to let Deji go on any stream without crashing it.
You are stalking him, man. You gotta,
I'm
man.
absolutely.
He does deserve it. He does deserve
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah, I'm
it's
straight.
probably last time.
You see what he says about our club, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he was bloody rude to me when I went on that
We've got
Spurs.
to make sure that we fucking stay up and they go down. That's the only thing about this situation.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Finish him off, man.
By the way,
It'll
Palace
redirect
team
you
tonight.
across.
Has
Huh?
anyone seen the Palace team? It's bloody weak. It's piss weak.
Yeah.
They've left out
Is it?
Mateta and Sarr.
Yep,
It's
Spurs
like they're
are going
trying to
down.
get.
Leclerc is injured.
I don't like it. I think West Ham are going to
That's
win.
a-
Sorry.
That's good.
Yeah, I think
Oh, your favorite team, West Ham, gonna win. You should be
Fucking
smiling.
hate them. Stop it.
Right, this is going to redirect you across to Potts' channel. I'll be on there live in just a second. Make sure you've liked and subscribed here before you do leave. Go out there. Everyone type in Spurs going down in the chat. Make sure you check out OK Jerseys. Get your shirts for £15 with code FFTV. And I'll see you over there in just a second. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.